You are walking through the manicured grass of Great Waters, a gated community where the loudest sound is usually the hum of a distant golf cart. It's May 6, 2014. You reach the front door of a sprawling, elegant home overlooking Lake Oconee. You're checking on your friends, Russell and Shirley Dermond, because they missed a Kentucky Derby party, something the social, punctual couple would never do. The door is unlocked. You push it open, calling their names. Silence. You move toward the garage, and that's when the air changes. It's heavy, metallic. You look down at the floor of the two-car garage. Russell Dermond is there, but he is unrecognizable. He is lying in a small pool of blood, his body dressed in his usual clothes, but his head is gone. It hasn't just been hidden, it has been surgically, brutally removed and taken from the scene. You scream for Shirley, but the house offers no answer. She isn't in the kitchen. She isn't in the bedroom. There is no sign of a struggle, no forced entry, and Russell's wallet is still in the house. The person who did this didn't want their money. They wanted something else. Russell and Shirley Dermond were the embodiment of the American dream. Russell, 88, was a Navy veteran who had built a successful career owning several Hardee's locations in Atlanta before retiring in 1994. Shirley, 87, was his devoted partner of 64 years. They were beloved in their community, known for their kindness and their clockwork-like routine. The couple had faced tragedy before. In 2000, their oldest son, Mark, was murdered in Atlanta. However, investigators quickly ruled out a connection between that decades-old drug-related crime and the nightmare that unfolded at the lake. The Dermonds were last seen alive on May 1st, running errands in Eatonton. Later that day, they spoke to their son Brad on the phone. Everything seemed normal. But somewhere between that phone call and the following Tuesday, a predator, or a group of them, penetrated the security of their gated sanctuary. When the Putnam County Sheriff's Office arrived, they were met with a forensic puzzle that defied logic. Russell had been shot in the head, evidenced by gunshot residue on his collar, and then decapitated. Sheriff Howard Sills believes the decapitation was a calculated move to remove the bullet, preventing ballistics from being used to trace the murder weapon. The search for Shirley became a frantic race against time. For 10 days, investigators and neighbors hoped she had been kidnapped, perhaps held for a ransom that never came. Those hopes were crushed on May 16, when fishermen spotted a body floating in Lake Oconee, 5 miles from the Dermond home. It was Shirley. She had been weighted down with concrete blocks, but the gases of decomposition had brought her to the surface. An autopsy revealed she died from blunt force trauma to the head. Unlike Russell, she had not been shot. As of 2026, this case remains one of Georgia's most haunting cold cases. Despite thousands of interviews and the involvement of the FBI, no suspects have ever been named. No motive. Nothing was stolen from the home. Jewelry, cash, and electronics were left untouched. The head. Russell's head has never been found. The entry. There were no signs of forced entry. This suggests the Dermonds either knew their killer or were surprised by someone who entered through the lake side of the property. The logistics. Sheriff Sills has stated he believes multiple people were involved. Transporting a body to the middle of a lake and weighting it down with concrete is a physically demanding task, likely requiring a boat and more than one set of hands. To understand this case, we have to look at the organized versus disorganized typology of the offender. This crime was highly organized, bordering on surgical. 1. The clean scene. The lack of a struggle suggests a blitz attack, or a high level of social engineering. The killers didn't just break in, they controlled the environment. This points to offenders who are methodical, likely have a criminal history involving violence, and remained calm under extreme pressure. They didn't panic after the first killing. They took the time to clean the forensic evidence, the bullet, by decapitating the victim. 2. The symbolism of decapitation. In criminal psychology, decapitation usually serves one of two purposes, evasive or expressive. Evasive. The killer wants to hide the identity of the victim or, as Sheriff Sills believes, remove a specific piece of evidence like a bullet. Expressive. It is an act of total domination and depersonalization. To take a head is to take the essence of the person. However, given that Shirley was not decapitated, the motive here leans heavily toward the evasive. The killers were forensic aware. They knew how police investigations work. 3. The disposal of Shirley Dermond. The weighting of Shirley's body suggests a desire to delay the discovery of the crime. The killers wanted a head start. The use of concrete blocks implies premeditation. You don't just find concrete blocks and rope by accident. They came prepared to kill and prepared to dispose of the evidence. 4. The victimology. Why the Dermonds? This usually points to a killer who is a predator of opportunity, or someone who had a perceived grievance. However, the sheer brutality suggests a level of overkill that doesn't align with a simple robbery gone wrong. The killers are likely individuals who possess a dark triad of personality traits: narcissism, Machiavellianism, and psychopathy. They showed a total lack of empathy for two elderly victims and a calculated, cold-blooded approach to forensic countermeasures. They are likely still in the community, or were familiar enough with it to navigate the lake and the gated community without drawing a single eye. They are people who can kill, decapitate, and then go home to a normal life, until the day the past finally catches up to them. What do you think happened on the shores of Lake Oconee?